Hello everybody and welcome back, where today we're counting down my top 8 games for Christmas on PSVR2, whether you're buying for somebody else or you want a game to show off to your friends and family this holiday season. We're counting it all down here from games that will impress people, are easy to understand for newcomers if they're trying it out at your house, or a game you want to get if you're a VR enthusiast and don't already have it. Starting off, we have a game that can couple for kind of both. We have Resident Evil 8. This game is the quintessential horror experience, in my opinion, on PSVR2 in terms of a narrative story. So on that front, if you're looking for a narrative game to keep you occupied for a while this Christmas, you cannot go wrong with Resident Evil 8. Similarly enough, if you've got saves and you've already completed this game, it's the perfect game to show off to newcomers by throwing them into an especially scary section, such as the baby. Or if you've just bought it and you want to show off a good section to start off with at Christmas for people who want to come over and try it, throw them into the first level of the game. It includes some pretty rudimentary VR features and not a lot of complex mechanics to understand, some incredible visuals, some great sound, and some really good spooks that some later levels in the game don't quite have. So Resident Evil 8 overall is a great game to show off to newcomers and to get yourself if you haven't got it this Christmas. Next up is Kayak VR Mirage. This is a game that will blow away pretty much anybody that you put onto it this holiday season, and it's improved by the fact that they've even added a Christmas map that is active until the middle of January, so it's a perfect time to show it off to newcomers who try out the headset. The controls are very easy to understand, the visuals are absolutely stunning, and it's possibly the easiest VR experience to get into. The only thing I would say is do not put a newcomer on Norway during a storm, because it will make them feel probably incredibly motion sick, which is not what you want for your first VR experience. But if you've got other relatives who want to try it or friends who want to try it, Kayak VR Mirage's more serene and calm levels will absolutely blow them away this holiday season. For another horror VR experience, we have FNAF Help Wanted 1 and 2. I haven't played Help Wanted 2 at the time recording. It's unsure whether I will cover it for a review, but I can guarantee that Help Wanted 1 will have some great scares for people to watch on the social screen while the person in the headset is getting terrified. If they understand the mechanics of FNAF, you can throw them into the normal levels, but because the controls are so simple here, you could throw them into the maintenance levels, which are a lot easier to understand mechanically, and they'd probably get a kick out of those. I recommend this one strongly because, again, the controls are so easy. It's just pushing buttons physically with your hands most of the time. That's the easiest thing to understand. The buttons are very clear, and the controls are probably the simplest on this list, excluding Kayak VR Mirage, which is the easiest possible. FNAF Help Wanted is a great one for this Christmas, and I've put other people who've not tried VR before on it, and they've absolutely loved it in the most terrified way possible. Next up, another game to show off to people this Christmas is Gran Turismo 7. If somebody hasn't experienced a VR racing sim before and they're into cars, they will absolutely love Gran Turismo 7 on PSVR2. It's blown away everybody I've put on the headset since the headset's come out. And if they're a car enthusiast, if you have the credits for it, you can even let them pick out the car of their dreams out of the roster in the game, and they'll be able to experience it in full 3D in both the showroom and on the racetrack, which is the perfect thing for a car enthusiast to enjoy this Christmas. Bonus points if you're in a steering wheel, because showing people GT7 VR with a steering wheel is just a euphoric experience. It's so good. So, Gran Turismo 7, perfect game for this Christmas. Any list like this would be incomplete without Beat Saber, and sure enough, it's right here. This is the game that essentially started it all for the sort of experiences and events where people come and try VR. Beat Saber is just perfect for it. The controls are really intuitive. You just swipe and slash, as well as dodge obstacles. It's physical, it's active. There are loads of songs that are licensed if you own them that you can play for people to enjoy. There are hard and easy levels, varying difficulty, so anybody can come and try it. And it's a nice little game to have a competition with friends or family on. So, Beat Saber, don't think I had to really say this one out loud, but here it is, the perfect game for Christmas too. Following on from Resi 8 earlier, Resi 4 is also a similar deal. This is more for if you want to gift somebody a VR game for PSVR2. Resident Evil 4 is pretty cheap to pick up in terms of physical copies compared to how it is on the digital marketplace. On the PS Store, it's usually around 55 quid, I think, here in the UK. But then if you get it physical or pre-owned, it can be as low as 25. So Resident Evil 4, even though it's less horror oriented than Resi 8, so I wouldn't really throw anybody on it for their first experience at a Christmas party, I would say Resi 4 is perfect for those VR players who are looking for something new, as it is incredibly new, only came out last week. So I definitely recommend it for that person who owns a PSVR 2 but might not own a Resi 4 just yet. It's incredible looking, it's so fun to play. I've just wrapped up my own playthrough of it, which will be posted in installments on the channel, and I can't recommend it enough. Similarly, Horizon Call of the Mountain is a AAA VR experience, but one that might have been overlooked by a couple people when it came out, and it's also a perfect game to gift to somebody or recommend somebody this Christmas. If they missed it back when it came out, they're missing on some incredible vistas, some great combat, some great exploration and interaction, a soundtrack that absolutely slaps, and some of the best climbing mechanics in all of VR. So, if you missed out on Horizon Call of the Mountain, definitely consider picking it up for yourself or somebody else that owns a PSVR2 this Christmas. And if you want to show off VR to anybody this Christmas and you own Horizon already, the river ride, which is about 5 minutes long, is a perfect introduction to the visuals of PSVR2 because it requires no interaction from the controllers. You sit there on a river cruise, seeing a load of amazing sights and awesome action, with a couple of tense moments too, that somebody can just sit down and enjoy. A great one for Christmas if you're spending time away from family or friends but want to spend time virtually with them is Walkabout Mini-Golf. It's a chill game with some of the best looking visuals, surprisingly, on PSVR2 in terms of clarity. Even with its simplified art style, it looks so clean, it plays really well, the controls are incredibly simple and anybody can really understand them. The exploration of the maps with friends is surprisingly deep and fun, and there are so many courses to play through this Christmas. It's one of my favourite go-to games when playing with friends because it's so easy to boot up a course, whack your way through it, get to the end and have a great time. So if you're spending time away from people that you want to hang out with in VR on PSVR2, Walkabout Mini-Golf is the answer to that problem. And finally, let's dredge up a game that's kind of been forgotten about on PSVR2, but this one is more oriented towards maybe a younger audience who want to try out VR, but don't want to be put on something traumatizing like Resi 8. That is Job Simulator. Job Simulator is on PSVR2. I think it's a free upgrade from the original PSVR version if you already own that too, and it's one of the goats of VR from back in the day for a reason. Although it might have shown its age a little bit as of late, the PSVR2 port is perfectly good, and it shows off the fun of VR with interacting with the world around you, picking up all the objects you can, and genuinely having just a very fun time. The controls are easy to understand, so even a kid could use it, but beware, this one isn't great looking by any standard of AAA VR nowadays or anything like that. It is definitely just for maybe younger audiences or people that want to experience interaction in VR with the very simple controls. But Job Simulator I'd still recommend for those certain cases nonetheless this Christmas. So there we have it, the games I'd recommend this Christmas on PSVR2, whether you're gifting for someone else or showcasing to friends or family. If you have any other games you'd like to recommend to people in the comments below, do go ahead and do so. And it is a bit far in advance, but I will hope you have a great Christmas. I'm still going to be posting over the next 2 weeks or so throughout the holiday season, maybe a little less frequently as we get towards Christmas, but I've got a lot of content recorded. Thank you all for watching once again, and I hope to see you all in the next video.